How's it going? So, this is one of those videos, I don't know, it might be a bit cranky. Well, not cranky, but I mean clanky, in a way that I don't know how to structure it very well. But this is one of those videos that I would really want somebody to tell me when I was maybe 16 to 20 years old. So, it also ties down to kind of like like overall the concept of a pretty lady, right? I mean, right now on the internet, ladies are just like pretty much well, I would agree with feminists, right? They're just being as a sex object. They're being treated as a sex object, right? So I'm thinking about things like Instagram models, blah blah blah, right? They get a lot of followers, blah blah blah. They get a lot of publicity, they get like ad revenue, sponsorship. But you have to understand that sex with a woman like this is extremely available and extremely cheap. Like these girls here, right? They would go for maybe 80 to 150 for half an hour. Do you understand? So I'm talking about like if we go that route of just taking women as a sexual object, as a commodity, it's extremely available and extremely cheap when you are a working. I'm talking about person who is not working as a cleaner. I'm talking about person who has proper position. He's highly educated. He's highly skilled. He's working in a high skilled job, proper company. He has his pension. Like this shit here is it's like so cheap, so available that it's like it's like I read one article. I don't know. I can't find it anymore. But there is a concept of I'll find you one second. Yeah. So this concept here is called inferior good. So normal. Well, you need to first understand. Okay. So I'll first explain to you how the normal good works. Like normal good, as your income goes up, you start purchasing a little bit more of it. That's called a normal good. In economic cycles, it's called a normal good, right? So let's say, I don't know, you were buying coffee, tea, right? Let's say your income goes up, right? Like think about me. My income went up. I went from a Tesco budget value tea, to Berry tea, which is it's not luxurious tea, but it's a better brand. It's 3 times more expensive than the budget value. So you see, in terms of money spent on tea has increased because my income has increased. Okay, I went from eating budget value ham to eating well, again, it's Tesco finest. It's double, twice the price, but it's much better. Again, rice is the same thing. I went from eating cheap rice to eating slightly better rice, right? Now, there is luxury good where it's a different story, but normal goods, as your income rises, it increases. Now, let's talk about inferior good. Inferior good is when your income rises, you no longer consume it. So, I don't know, what would be a good example of this? Let me just think one sec. Possibly pasta. Means, like normally in economics, I think they say means would be an inferior good because as your income rises, you stop eating means, you start eating more like, I don't know, burger. Well, not burgers, but I mean talking about like pasta maybe would be maybe an inferior good because I went from pasta to potatoes, for example, right? But it's kind of like inferior good is it's a. Let me just find examples. One second. Well, yeah, used cars, generic products, pizza, this discounted clothing. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, as your income rises, you no longer want to buy shit clothing. You want to buy like good clothing, because there is a certain degree of quality at that point where it becomes worth it for you to buy it. Because if you go cheap, it usually like you wash it a couple times and it becomes like it's not a good long-term deal. But you get the idea, right? You get the idea. So there was an economist that did analysis of basically income relative to consumption of prostitutes, right? And he found that as the income rises, consumption decreases, right? So when you think about it, the more it becomes available to you, the less you want it, which is kind of interesting. That's what you see. Like, I noticed that this girls like that, they normally struggle to get a long-term boyfriend. That's what I noticed about, because I'm talking about, like, I'm, you know, in the office. I've been in a lot of companies in my life, and I've seen a lot of attractive women, like, and I've seen a lot of, I've dated some of them, right? Not a good experience, and I'll tell you why, right? Like, this video is probably specifically for that, is because once you get into practical world where she's kind of like, think about it, the best way to think about it as a like, everybody's League of Legends probably here, right? So you go to bot lane, how good is she over support? And she's not very good. She's just not a good player. Do you know what I mean? So you're gonna have to carry her, and it's not, when she's on her own, okay, but when you have a family, especially if you want to kind of move up the career ladder, you need somebody who is independent, you know, who can look after themselves and look after your family while you are trying to meet your targets for your salary or whatever you want to do, right? And at that point, girls like that fall off so hard. That's why you don't see them being mothers, being wives, because they just fall off at that point, right? So you see, they are very kind of, how to say, they are very attractive to people of lower income, who does not have a lot of prospective opportunities going forward, meaning that they're not very high on human development index. So in that category, they would be perfect. So they would shine in things like nightclubs, right? They would shine in there. I don't know, adult content, they would shine in there, right? Instagram, internet, like, you know, like TikTok, probably they would shine in there. But if we're talking about like practical world where you need somebody like a wife who can look after a child and make good decisions in life, it's like, it's such a no-go, honestly. Because look, like, think about it, right? Let's say we ask one of them, hey, can you not put your beer bottles into the bin? There is a special bin, so we need to recycle it. They will not be able to do it. Like, I dated girls like this, they cannot do it. They just can't think. I don't know why it's so difficult to recycle for them, but it's just difficult, right? Then, when they start talking, it's like, just you know, it's best if they don't, you know? Sometimes, like, they say such, especially when they get drunk, it's like, they start, you know, getting emotional, and they think that them getting angry somehow furthers and makes their stupid argument better, just because they're getting angry, you know? It's just like, I don't want to go down there, right? Then, let's say, stuff like that, they simply completely cannot do. Is like, let's say, okay, you found a supplier that can supply bulk items, and you ask her, hey, let's say we take this chick here, right? And we say, hey, can you calculate how much toothpaste we're using per year, including, like, let's say, toothpaste, mouthwash, washing gel, shampoo, conditioner, you know, like stuff that can be bought in bulk and are durable for like 2 to 3 years. So we just buy it for 2 to 3 years, save a lot of money, and store it because we have a warehouse, for example, right? We'll not be able to do it. So you see, like, it's just like, it's so useless in a way, you know? Or, right, like, they are hot right now because women tend to peak at about, maybe, we're talking about like I saw somewhere it's like 19 to 22 is like their absolute prime. 25 is probably top. We're talking like, at that point they're just the prime level of their beauty, like youth is just bang on, right? And they have metabolism. Past 25, like, it's still viable, but past 25 they simply do not possess the metabolism, right? So her staying skinny is no longer possible through just not eating like a pig. she now has to look after her diet as well. Because right now, she can get away with just not eating a lot. She can eat a muffin, she can drink Coca-Cola, she can eat half a burger, she can eat a burger. It doesn't matter. Her metabolism can handle it, right? I was the same. Shit. Let me just show you. 1 second. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to show you one by one, I think, right? So, you see, like when you're at that age, I'm talking like you're in your like 19, 20, all of that shit is easy. Like stuff like that. You see, like everything is easy. Your body is like in a good shape, right? So like this is easy, right? But then, because you have the metabolism, right? But then when you start getting older, your metabolism can no longer handle a hamburger. It can no longer handle like a muffin, for example, because all of that shit just simply goes into fat, and you start looking like a freaking pig. Do you know what I'm saying? So now you have to look at the diet as well, and that becomes very, very difficult for them because they're not used to it. Do you know what I'm saying? So she will simply become a whale. Some of them just freaking explode. Do you know what I'm saying? And they become huge. So my advice is that do not pick a girlfriend, wife, whatever, based on her looks, but more over how much of a partner she is. I would advise you to maybe write down what are you looking for, right? And then maybe select based on that. Like I wouldn't go for looks, honestly. It's probably the least. Now I know some people are gonna be like, you won't be able to get a chick like this, right? Let me just you can go to a website called escorts, euroescorts.com, and I'll show you some chicks that are way better looking than this, and they cost 80 euro for half an hour. Some of them are 150 euro for a full hour. You will not need a full hour. I'll tell you straight up, right? Well, let me just give you some screenshots. 1 sec. So here's one example, right? She is available right now in Dublin for 120 for 45 minutes. But I mean, that's a very, very gorgeous looking girl, right? So they're like super. Let me find you a couple more. 1 sec. Here's another one. This one's 150 for 1 hour. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna show you. She has naked pictures, of course, but obviously, I'm not gonna show it to you. But website, you can visit yourself, right? Euro escorts, right? And there is swarm of them. Believe me when I tell you there is swarm. All shapes and sizes, anything you want is fully available. 1 sec, I'll find you another one. Now, the reason I went for another one is because I went for the budget value, so the other two were not budget value. I went and I filtered by the cheapest possible, and on the third row I found this one. She's 90 euro for 1 hour. That's how cheap it is. So do you understand what I'm saying? Is that this is 90 euro per hour, what you're looking at here. And I don't understand what is so special about it that people are just like, I don't know, spending time on this. It's like, dude, like, get a proper job, right? Get a proper job. And then you will look at this like, dude, I can get it today. Like, I can have one of those every single day, and I won't even care about it in terms of income, right? But the question is, that's the question I'm asking is, how do you find a good partner? Now, that's difficult. That's what I'm saying, is that, it's very, very difficult. So what I'm saying is, like, when you date a woman, don't freaking make a decision based on how in fact, also I have to, like, tell you straight up, Instagram are photoshopped. All of that shit is photoshopped, right? So more look on from perspective of, like, I'm trying to move your lens. Think of, like, let me just write down lenses in here. So you have one lens in here, which is like, oh my god, I'm horny, and I want to get physical, right? Whoopsie, what the hell? Let me just do this. Boom. Let's do red. Yeah. So this is your first lens. So Um, when I was doing pickup, one dude said to never go to nightclub with a loaded gun. So if you know what I mean, like loaded gun. So unload your gun and then make decisions, right? Because otherwise you're gonna fall into trap of making decisions with your emotions. All right? Because this is, you have to remember, this is 90 euro per hour that you're looking at. So I'm trying to move you more towards the. Well, we're running out of time, so I have to be quick. Towards more of a kind of like think more of on personality, kind of does she have college degree, is she smart, do you think she will be a good mother, do you know what I mean, like ultimately, do you think she'll be a good partner, is she independent, can you leave kids with her, right? Because I had a dude, like he had a problem with his wife, she's attractive woman, very very attractive, hands down, right? But she could not, like, she was in the country for 5 years and she still could not speak any English, right? So when he went to work, they ended up calling the doctor because she gave the wrong dosage of medicine to the child, and the child freaking almost died. Because it said 3 there, but it said 3 times per day, and she thought it was 3 tablets because she was so silly. And she was too lazy to even check it. Do you understand, like, the problem? And I ran into problems like that with these chicks. I'm talking about when I was, like, dating Russian girls. They do shit like that a lot. And this will drive you absolutely insane. That's what I'm saying, is that if you really need to, do not rush it. Remember that over 25, when you get a good job, when you get proper, this will become like, I don't know, ordering pizza. You can go get it infinite amounts, right? So right now, don't waste your time on this. Like, more challenge you, like channel your energy towards like getting, becoming a high human development index person, as opposed to kind of like chasing this nonsense. Like, because I remember I had some friends, they were going like to nightclubs, they were trying to pick up these chicks, and I did it for some period of time as well. But like I did it slightly differently, because I wanted to first figure out, can I open, like, can I build comfort, can I get a telephone number, can I get a kiss, can I get a second date, right? Now, by the time I got to becoming good at getting second dates and getting phone numbers and getting kisses, right, I realized that this whole thing is a total waste of time, because this is not the type of ladies that you want long term in your life, right? Like, you're talking about women that were, like, they were working as sandwich wrappers, cleaners, women that looked like they were 19, but they were actually like 32. Do you know what I mean? And they were still working as cleaners, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were, like, I remember I met those 3 chicks. They were like Lithuanian, right? And they had no education, they had no jobs, and their parents were very very poor, right? And as opposed to getting a job or thinking about anything, they were going to nightclubs and partying. So I thought to myself, holy shit, there's really nothing in the head in there. There is just nothing in the head. Do you know what I mean? So I was thinking to myself, holy shit, like, how am I going to have kids with this woman? And that's when you start to kind of be like, holy shit, dude, it's a different ball game, right? That's why you see, like, super hot women, you don't see them a lot on streets, because they are a dying breed, I suppose, right? Because demand for them is so low. I'm talking about, like, because you have to think, right? You have to think there's like I said, there's 2 areas. One is you want to get physical, demand is high. But once you have empty gun, let's just talk about it this way, right? Which is like 99% of your life. Because, I mean, let's face it, okay, how many times per week do you really need it, right? I don't know, 20 minutes, 3 times, 4 times per week, 5 times maybe, right? So then that means 99% of the time you're looking for somebody who is more of in this category, as opposed to just being a love doll, do you know what I mean? And then you also pile the fact that it's so cheap and so affordable and available 24/7. Like, I can call her right now and she'll come over to my house. you understand like the like the problem? That's why they don't get a lot of. That's why super hot woman is so rare, because they don't get a lot of kids, women like that, because like they're just like functionally they're not very useful, you know. And getting a husband is a completely different game to getting a lover, I suppose, right? Because I mean, if you ask any guy to hop on her, anybody will do it, right? Anyone. But if you say, hey, we want to have like 2 or 3 kids with this, I'll be like, does she have a degree? No. Does she know how to do maths? No. Or is she thinking that 20% means 100 multiplied by 20? Which is like, it's a completely different ballgame, you know? Like I'll tell you, like I'll finalize like this: like if being a wife, being a good wife, was a profession, these do not qualify, and that's about it. All right, so don't rush it. Right, remember that once you mature enough, I'm talking about once you have high level of human development index, you know, you get a good career, you become disciplined, you become smart, your decision making is good. This is just like ordering takeaway. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't eat takeaway, but just metaphorically speaking, it's just it's so available. All right, take care. Bye bye.